Hello everyone, welcome to another online math lesson. Our lesson for today is determining the quadratic equation given only the graph. Now we all know that the graph of a quadratic equation is a parabola. Now how do we solve or determine the equation of a parabola? Now first, let us recall the equation of a parabola on its standard form. So we have here y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is the equation of a parabola on its standard form. We also have y is equal to a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. This one is the vertex form of a quadratic function. Now since our problem is to find the equation of a quadratic function given the parabola, so the best equation to use for this one in solving the equation for this parabola is the vertex form. Why? Because from here, based on the given parabola, we can now determine the value of k and h, which we all know that h and k is the vertex of the parabola. Right? So for this parabola, the vertex would be positive 1 and negative 4. So you have 1, negative 4. Then all we need to do is to substitute this one to the vertex form. But we still have some unknown variables here. We have the y, the a, and the x. So we still have these variables to solve. Now to solve for the equation of this graph, we need a point anywhere on this graph. So as you can notice here, there are several points along the parabola. So let's try to get one point from the parabola. So say I'll use this point here. 3, 0. So to get the quadratic function of a parabola, all we need is the coordinate of the vertex and one point on the parabola. That's all we need to solve for the quadratic equation for the entire parabola. So here we have the vertex and a point. So let's use this point and the vertex and then substitute it here to our vertex form so that we could solve for the value of a here. Okay, so let's try to substitute everything. So we have here y using the point on the parabola. Our y here is equal to 0. So here, the purpose of this one is for us to solve for the value of a. Then a, x would be the value of our point here, which is 3, minus our h is positive 1, so minus 1 squared, plus the value of k, which is negative 4. There. Then let's try to simplify this one. You have 0 equals a Then you have 3 minus 1, that's 2, raised to the power 2. So you have here a positive and negative separated by a parenthesis. So this only means that this is a multiplication of signs. So you have positive times negative gives us negative, and then just copy 4. Let's simplify further. So you have 0 is equal to a, 2 raised to the power 2 is 4, minus 4. So let's try to use the standard format in writing a term. So let's transfer 4 here before a. It should be numerical coefficient first before the variable. So you have 0 is equal to 4a minus 4. There. And then from here, we can solve for a. All we need to do is to transpose 4 to the other side or use the additive inverse. So you just add 4 here, since 4 is negative, and then you also add a positive 4 here on the other side. Then subtract. So you have 4, negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Then 0 plus 4 is positive 4 equals 4a. Then we can solve for a by dividing both sides by its numerical coefficient 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 becomes an imaginary number. Therefore, we have the value of our a equals to 1. So based on the graph, since a is equal to 1 and a is positive, so the graph is opening upward. So therefore, we get the correct sign of a, which is positive. If a is positive, the graph is opening upward. And since the size of the graph, of the opening of the graph, is not that narrow or not that wide, so our a is 1, then we can now substitute it here, the value of a to our vertex form, together with the value of h and k, to form our quadratic equation. So our quadratic equation then will be y is equal to a, that's 1, times x. Our h is positive 1, so x minus 1 squared plus, but since our k is negative, so let's just change this one to negative, minus 4. And since 1 here is the numerical coefficient of this one, so 1 then becomes an imaginary number. So let's go ahead and remove 1 from this. So there you have it. This will be our quadratic equation for the given graph. I hope you understand my explanation on how to find the equation of a quadratic function given only its graph. So again, all we need to do is to locate the vertex of the parabola for us to have the value of h and k, and then choose any point on the parabola. In our example, I use this point wherein this point is 3, 0, and then just substitute everything in our vertex form for us to solve for the value of a, and then there you have it, our equation of this